So Michael and I basically spent almost every day together, except when he was practicing basketball practice, because he was a hooper back then. Still is. I think he just doesn't really do it that much. But aside from that, we were always together. And I was a virgin at the time. And so I decided one day that I was going to let him be the boy to take my virginity.
Being in fact it was a young age, just trying to explore and stuff like that. So, at that age, we explored. We both took each other's virginity, and things came here and there, and she became pregnant at a young age of 13.
Yeah, I was actually 12 when I got pregnant.
Yeah, 12. She had a child at 13.
I had the baby at 13. It was a little boy. But when I got pregnant, it was a hectic time because I didn't know what was going on with the changes in my body, and I was basically taken away from where I was and placed somewhere else. And when I found out that I was actually pregnant, I was about 6 months, going on 6 months. And I told my sister, and she was like, you need to tell Michael. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to tell Michael. And she was like, no, you have to tell him because he's the father. And long story short, she told him. But during the pregnancy, we could not see each other, and that's a whole nother story. So I went through the pregnancy alone, and I was depressed and sad, and we couldn't see each other. And that was the end of that situation until I gave birth, and I had to move on with my life, even though that was hard. And he had to try to move on with his life. So basically for 23 years, we both went on to live separate lives, trying to, I guess, recreate what we had with other people. And that didn't work
out.
and that didn't work at all, especially for me. I went through some hella bad relationships.
Talk for yourself.
Some hella bad relationships, okay? But during the time that we were apart, I actually looked for him. And one time I thought I got close to finding him. There was this one guy, he was a trainer or a bodybuilder, I don't remember, and he lived in South Beach, and I sent him a message on Facebook asking him if he remembered who I was, and he read the message, but he never responded. So I was like, maybe that's him and he just don't want to be bothered with me. And it kind of made me sad, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to chill for a minute, and maybe one day we'll find each other. And I guess we did.
You guess?
We did.
Yeah.
We found each other.
She found me on Facebook. She actually found me.
Yes. Actually, I didn't find him on Facebook. I went to this website called binverified.com, and I paid $25, and I found him that way. And then I decided to reach out to him on Facebook because that site allows you to see every single social media account the person has, all their email addresses, every phone number that's ever been attached to them.
So if you want to be a spy or a mako, that's the first site
you could go there. And it gives you all their phone numbers, whether it's active or not. And that's how I found him. So I decided I would just go ahead and reach out on Facebook, because more than likely he probably goes on Facebook more often than all his other social media accounts. And I sent him a message. And I don't remember what the first part of the message was, but I know I mentioned who I was and that we had a kid together, and I asked him if he remembered me. And what was your response?
I left him my number and I said, call me ASAP.
And then after he left the number, I kind of paced around the room for a minute because I was super nervous, and I was like, I don't know how he's going to sound, if he's going to be upset, if he's going to curse me out. So I had to take a minute and talk to the Most High to make sure that my head was right. So when we had this phone conversation, it wasn't bad. And to my surprise, it actually wasn't. I heard him talking, and I had butterflies in my stomach. His voice was so deep. And I was like, Barry, I didn't know you were reincarnated. I'm sorry. Okay. So, but his voice was really deep. And I was shocked because I was like, I don't remember him sounding like that when we were younger. Of course, he was going through puberty. So he sounded like Michael Jackson. I'm sorry. Okay, no. His voice was just not as deep. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to my first love. And we talked for hours. Like, jeez. Talked for like 3-4 hours that day?
More than that.
The first
until
day?
the next morning, really.
We did. Because I remember it was so hard for me to get up to go to work. And I went to work and I was singing and everybody kept asking me what happened. And I was telling my coworkers that I found my first love. So that was exciting for me.
That was exciting for me too.
Really? Was it?
Yeah. See, I'm with your ass now, right?
But you sounded so calm on the phone, though. He sounded super calm,
Yeah,
like
you can't lose
chill.
your cool. You gotta be chill.
Why you gotta be chill?
Because you gotta be chill.
Why?
Yeah.
You didn't want me to know that
No,
you...
because women sense fear and stuff like that. So you gotta be chill, keep it cool, keep it level, make sure you got everything under par.
Well, you did a good job because...
Of course.
And then, crazy thing is, even before we spoke, the first thing came to my mind was, I hope he's not married. Because on the site, it said that he was married and it gave me his so-called spouse's name. And I was like sad because I was like, I wanted him to be single because I wanted my man back. So when we started when we started talking again, I was like, so are you single? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, well, there's this person. And I was like, okay, and what's up with the person?
Oh, you talking about that shit.
Yeah, but the person is irrelevant, and the person was irrelevant then. But basically, he was single. So I was like, okay, well, everything felt right to me. Like, it felt like the first day we met. But he was like, we should wait until we actually saw each other in person and then go from there, because when you talk on the phone, it might be a different feeling versus when you actually see each other, like, in the flesh.
Which is true.
So
It's true. It's very true.
So we conversed on the phone for a good while, and then finally, and this was back in December of 2017. And then finally we decided, okay, we're going to see each other. So we saw each other in February, the 5th of February of 2018. We went to Wisconsin, and that was like a long flight to get there for some reason. His flight was actually delayed until the next day. You didn't come until the 6th.
Yeah.
So I got to our hotel first, and then he told me that he was delayed until the next day. So first night I was in the hotel by myself, and I was nervous, but then I was like, it actually gives me time to prepare, because I wanted to make sure I was like perfect when I saw him. So I used that time to, like, I don't know, figure out my look. Like, was I gonna be like or was I gonna be like, Michael? I didn't know which look to give him. I didn't know which surprise look. But then when he finally came, all that thinking I was doing on how I was gonna look, if I was gonna faint or if I was just gonna scream, none of that happened. I saw him and I just ran to him and I jumped on him and he hugged me.
Yep.
And it was amazing. It was the most amazing feeling ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Mad Michelle.
That's what I used to call her back in the days, was Mad Michelle.
Yeah.
Her face was always mad. She was like, all the time. So.
Listen, first of all, I wasn't even in the States that long. Maybe 3 years max at that time.
And where are you from? Tell them where you're from.
Jamaica. So, naturally, I come to a foreign country and
Lose your accent.
I lost it now. But when he met me, I still have my accent, which is
Right.
funny. I still was like, "What mute?" I was like, "You have some bread and banana. You have some boiled dumpling, some ackee and saltfish," and he was like, "I got Captain Crunch." Okay, that was. I didn't ask you about no boiled dumpling and banana. That was a joke. But he always gave me Captain Crunch cereal, and sometimes he would cook like other stuff. But most of the time we would have cereal. But it was those moments, like even then as a kid, I knew he was my one, my Boaz, because the simple things with him was like awesome. Like after him, of course, I was with other people, and they had to do so much for me to even really be remotely interested. And he just did the littlest things, and I was just crazy about him. Even now, he does like the littlest things, and I'm just in awe. I know.
Stupid. Oh Lord.
So, when I saw him again for the first time after 23 years, it was like all kinds of feelings came back. But one thing that happened that I didn't want to admit at the time is that a lot of anger was there too.
Yeah, a lot of anger, a lot of anguish, a lot of resentment, regret.
Yeah. I was happy, and I'm still happy that we're back together, but I was angry too. I was upset with him. I felt like he didn't do enough to keep us together. But then
You were 12.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time it was kind of like I felt like at 12, you know, that's when you're allowed to kind of just do stupid stuff and make
Like actually watch PG-13 movies.
like try to find your love, the love of your life, run away and come back home and just get a whooping or something like that, you know, like that's the age when you're allowed to just be stupid. So I felt like he wasn't stupid enough, basically. So I was upset because I was like, I was pregnant and I had to deal with that all by myself. And though some people didn't really want us to be together, you should have fought a little more. But that was just, you know, all those emotions that I kept bottled up for so many years that was coming out. But my normal self, the self that makes decisions from a realistic standpoint, understood that at 12 he couldn't really do anything.
No, she don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Why don't I?
No, you don't.
Why?
Because women are emotional creatures, and you're very emotional.
I am.
So every decision is made by emotion, so it's not happening. But it's okay though. I still
No,
love you.
but I am no
I still love
longer
you.
upset about how things went down.
So that means you forgive me?
I do forgive you.
Do you know that other F word comes after forgive?
Forget.
Yeah.
How do you forget something that was that painful, though?
I don't know. How do you do that? I think you should do that with some therapy, talking, you know, and stuff like that. That's how you work out relationships.
Yes. However, I think that it's hard for someone to just forget. Okay, like someone cheating, to me, you could kind of forget that, right?
No, you can't.
To a degree. It all depends on what they did. Like if you cheated and you got someone pregnant and then there's a baby to constantly remind the person that you cheated, that's hard to forget. But maybe you kiss somebody.
Some people ain't gonna forget that.
True, but
Depends on the person.
True.
Some people might take a kiss more traumatic than having a child with another person.
that's true. However, for me, I would be able to forgive someone easier for kissing someone else than I would if they had a baby with another person that I have to see all the time and remind me
Okay, well,
that
let's
you
just
cheated.
say, if a kiss, a simple kiss, right, you got from somebody, and they gave you herpes or something like that, then you got herpes. You can't get rid of the herpes. You always got herpes. It's just like having a kid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and so which is why I'm saying that to forget what we went through when it involved a pregnancy and all the other things that follow, that's not something that someone can easily do.
Of course. That's why I said it helps with therapy in a relationship to talk about it a lot. That way.
But does it bother you that I talk about it a lot with you?
No, we have to talk about it. How do you think we're going to get over it?
Because sometimes I feel like I'm annoying.
I mean, you are annoying, but it comes with the territory.
But annoying because I constantly relive that period where the pregnancy happened and we got separated. And I kind of felt like before we kept talking about it more though, that you didn't really understand.
Well, I understood. It's just that your comprehension of what you went through and my comprehension of what you went through are two totally different things. Because I went through certain things that you couldn't go through or you didn't go through, so you wouldn't really understand it unless you go through it. Kind of like walking your shoes type deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take away from what you went through because I'm sure that you had to have felt pain just like I did. But I guess the selfish part of me felt like I endured more pain because I'm the one who carried the child.
Hence what I'm saying, more emotional driven.
And it hurt more because I felt like people around us have a hard time comprehending what that kind of pain can do to someone.
Well, like I said, if you don't go through the experience, you'll never know. That's why some people don't live life, because they're stuck in a shell.
So if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently?
What do you mean?
Like, if we could go back to fall when we met and the whole pregnancy, when you found out that I was pregnant, when my sister came to you, what would you have done differently?
I would have taken you away and ran away with you, but, you know, you'd have to at least try to agree to talk to me first.
I didn't agree to talk to you because I was afraid of your family.
Okay, well, I mean, you can't. What's the saying? Scared money don't make no money?
That's true.
Okay, so.
But remember that certain people made it very hard for me while I was pregnant. So when you asked if we could meet and discuss the pregnancy and things like that, I opted out of it because I felt like if I were to have met up with you and certain people were around, it could have caused some kind of damage to my unborn child because of the stress that I would have gone through.
Well, you never would have known unless you found out.
That is very true. So, for me, if I could do it all over again, I don't think I would change the pregnancy because I love my son. Even when I was pregnant with him, I loved him.
I mean, our son.
Yes, I'm sorry. Our son. I would just change that. I would have made the decision to come and meet with you and find out what it was that was on your mind that you wanted to talk about. And I think maybe if I would have made that decision, a lot of things would have been different.
Yeah, we would have. But since things are not different, it's a good thing we can talk about it so that we can get over it and move forward with it.
Do you think that if we would have stayed together then that we would even be together now?
No, you would have cheated on me.
You would,
straight up.
He would have
cheated on me.
No,
I would have been locked up. You would have cheated on me.
He would have cheated on me. Okay, because
guys always cheat.
Because he's handsome and he was a ball player and he was really good at playing basketball, and I mean, look, he's attractive, so women would have naturally been throwing themselves at him. And because we were young and he probably felt like, she kind of messed up my life, I'm stuck with her and a baby, I'm gonna go and...
How would mess up your life?
No, that I messed up your life.
Why would I think that?
Because
it takes two to tango, baby.
Yeah, but I had the baby and then you would have been
stuck with me. Yeah, and I put the baby in you.
But you would have been stuck with me.
And you stuck with me now. What would be the difference?
But you got to experience other women.
And?
So you probably would have wanted to experience them while we were together. No.
No.
You hear this? He said no. You would never have wanted to experience other people?
No, because you was all I needed.
Oh. Okay, give me a kiss.
You getting some pussy tonight.
You know what? Oh my god. Did you just say that?
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay, anyway. I don't know. I felt like if we stayed together, he would have cheated. And he said no. I wouldn't have.
I think you would have cheated.
No, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, you would have.
No, I wouldn't have. I'm not the cheating kind. Why would I just cheat?
Everybody is capable of cheating.
Yes, but some people choose their families over a quick moment of satisfaction with someone else.
You know how much women leave men because they feel like they haven't lived their lives?
But how can you feel that way with someone that you believe to be your, like, the love of your life?
Okay.
Your life.
Let me put it to
your life partner. Like,
yeah,
you're a Boaz. You're a beginning and your end.
Most women don't think like that. Most women think, especially American women, they think mostly about themselves. They put themselves first.
Why do you say that?
Because they do. They do. They even put themselves before the child. Hence the child support. Blake Griffin had to pay $250,000 a month for a child.
Yeah, but
that's crazy. A child don't need that much to survive.
Yeah, I will agree with you. I think that amount of money is unnecessary. They say that is because they want to have the child continue the way of life that they were living.
The child doesn't know what type of life it's living.
Very true. And not only that, if you're teaching your children to not necessarily waste money, because just like I know some people, they've gone to private school, and then I know some people have gone to public school. Kids who go to private school are no better than kids who go to public school.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think so, because I know some kids that went to private school their entire lives, and they're dumber than the kids that went to public school.
Well, that's because of that. That's because they're not driven. But a lot of kids that are in public school are driven. But the whole thing with public school, with private schools, they have different. Cause I went to a private school and I went to a public school. With private schools, they have, I wouldn't say smaller classrooms, but they have more educational resources, and they have time to do it, because you're not going from class to class to class. You usually have the same class with the same teacher that teaches you all the subjects. You get what I'm saying? I
get it, but I don't feel like because basically what I'm saying is they say that going to a private school, you're getting a better education. That's not necessarily true, because if you have a teacher in a private school that doesn't really care too much.
For example, when I met you, I came from New York. I was in private school. When I was in private school in, 6th grade, I was already doing algebra and stuff like that. When I came to Florida and I went to public school, in 7th grade, they had me doing simple multiplication with search and shades. So we would have to search the sum, calculate it, pull up the sum, and then color it. That's 2nd grade shit. You get what I'm saying?
So do you agree that if that's the case, then you're saying that if she's saying, well, I need $248,000 a month because he goes to private school, and the private school he's attending or she's attending is $15,000 a month. Then in addition to
there's no private school that costs $15,000 a month.
Well, for celebrities, there's some private school that's ridiculously expensive for no reason.
There is none
that costs
$15,000 a month.
Are you sure about that?
What do you mean?
Are you sure about that?
That is ridiculous.
There are private schools.
$15,000 a month.
Yes, there's some private schools that
I would say college or university.
No.
I know
yes, they have private schools that's $15,000 or more a month. Google it. Google it.
We're gonna Google it just now.
Okay. So, you would say, okay, fine, since this $15,000 for the child to go to private school, then she says, I need money to make sure that I have proper transportation where we live.
So she has to buy a Maserati because she doesn't drive anything less than that.
She doesn't have to, but she chooses to.
Yeah, with child support money.
Yes.
That's supposed to support the child. So that means you have $250K a month is gonna do what with the child?
That's not for the child. I'm not arguing that.
I understand that, but it has nothing to do with her.
It doesn't. But what I'm saying is that, first of all, let's be honest here. Never mind, because that's a whole nother topic we could talk about on another segment when it comes to these celebrities and athletes having children or getting married to women and they have no prenups, they have no guidelines, because I personally feel like if a woman is with you because she loves you, it's no pressure for her to sign a prenup. And if she has a child with you, she's not going to pressure you for $248,000 a month to take care of a child that may not need that kind of money to take care of the kid. That's for her. So, but that,
So they
like
need
I said,
stipulations on child support.
they need stipulations on marriage too, if you want to be technical.
That's true.
So, but at the same time, you can't blame the woman, because the men like to think with their penis. So they don't logically sit down and think about things or consider things like, what if I get first of all, okay, never mind. That's a whole nother conversation. Because I was gonna say what a woman does while she's just your girlfriend, and how she treats you when she's just a girlfriend and you're at your lowest will determine how she will treat you as a wife.
No, because they got a lot of women who could treat you like gold when you're the boyfriend. When you're
no. What I'm saying is,
when they're girlfriend,
yes,
and then when you get married, they switch up.
very true. But I'm talking about women. For example, if I'm just your girlfriend now, or let's say I'm your wife, and you're not doing so well financially, you're struggling, and I jump ship because you're struggling. I don't want to struggle with you. Then suddenly you start doing good again, and I want to come back and I want to work it out. That already should be a freaking light bulb that goes off in your head that tells you what's up. And if you choose to move forward, then whatever happens after that, no one should feel sorry for you. So a lot of these celebrities and athletes, they go through that with the women they deal with, but for whatever reason, because they have money, they figure, oh, whatever. If she leave, it don't matter. I'm still good. Yeah, you're still good.
Yeah, right.
But she's gonna take some stuff with her.
Your stock will drop about 50%.
Okay. But that's just my opinion. But like I said, that's a whole nother story. So